Today I'm going to show you how to solder copper plumbing in just 5 simple steps. Don't worry if you're a beginner, it's going to be just fine. Step 1 is to clean and prep the pipe. To begin, we need to deburr. Whether you're cutting your copper plumbing pipe with a hacksaw like this, or using a tubing cutter like one of these, you're gonna need to deburr the pipe. Both of these methods, with the hacksaw or with the tubing cutter, is gonna leave burrs. Oh, if you're a beginner, these tubing cutters are super easy to use. These things have a cutting wheel and an adjustable jaw, and they operate just by spinning around the pipe. Just place the wheel where you want to make the cut and tighten up the jaws. Don't go crazy here. Now you just tighten and spin and tighten and spin until you cut through the pipe. Here are the proper tools for deburring copper plumbing pipe. You need a wire brush and some sort of reamer tool like this one, although you could get by with just using emery cloth. But this 4-in-1 tool and reamer kit on Amazon is super cheap. I'll put an affiliate link down in the description below if you guys want to check it out. To deburr the inside of the pipe, I use the pointed end of the reamer tool. Put it inside and just give it a couple of twists. That's really all it takes. Now I follow that up with the wire brush. I just stick it inside there, and again, I just give it a few twists. To do the outside of the pipe, it's a very similar process. This reamer tool has cone-shaped blades that point inward. We're going to put that on the pipe. Give it a few twists. We're going to follow that up with the wire brush. The 4-in-1 tool has this 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch circular wire brush. We're going to slide that on the pipe and give it a few twists. A couple of things to remember here. You want to make sure that you remove all of the burrs and polish the pipe with the wire brush past the end of where the fitting is going to be. And you want to make sure that you polish this thing until it's shiny. All the copper fittings that you're going to use also need to get the wire brush treatment. Same method here, polish until they're shiny. One last step. Take a towel and wipe away all of the debris that's inside and on the pipe, because we don't want any of that getting trapped in the solder once we get to the heating stage. Step 2 is to apply the flux. Now, if you're new to all this, don't worry. I'll put a link down in the video description to a kit that comes with the solder, the flux, and a brush. Now, I have found through personal experience that when you get one of these brushes, you got to make sure you don't have any loose bristles, because they could come off and get stuck in your solder joint. Why do we even need flux? Well, flux actually has 3 jobs. It removes oxidation, and it prevents oxidation from happening when we heat the copper. That's something that happens when you heat copper. The 3rd job of flux is that it's slippery, and it provides the medium that the solder uses to crawl inside that narrow space between the pipe and the fitting. And don't forget, when you're done here, clean your brush, because when you chuck this thing in a drawer and go to use it the next time, it's going to be pretty nasty. A couple of key takeaways here. Be sure that you're putting the flux past the end of the fitting and coat all of the surfaces. Step 4 here is to actually apply the solder. I like to put a little hook on my solder, and we're going to follow the 3 rules. Heat evenly, not too much heat, and we're going to use the least amount of heat possible. I'm going to show you guys in real time this process. The torch and gas combo that I'm using here happened to be from Burns-O-Matic, which you can pick up at pretty much any big box store, but I will drop an affiliate link down in the video description. The gas that I'm using is MAP gas, and it burns just a little bit hotter than propane, but propane absolutely will work here. The copper pipe and the fitting are almost up to temperature, and this flux is starting to bubble and smoke a little bit. My solder is melting, and that capillary action is pulling the solder into the joint. I'm just pushing my solder against the fitting now, pushing 360 degrees. Let's let that cool down and we'll take a look at it. All right, guys, I am going to use my phone for this because I think it's a better camera for close-ups. There is the close-up shot. You can see we are 360 degrees. 360 degrees of solder there. Now, you can see this is going to be a problem for some of you guys out there. This is not a problem, it's cosmetic. I have seen other plumbers take a wet towel while the solder is still molten and they'll try to remove that. The problem with that is a lot of people are beginners and this is going to move and you're going to break your bond and cause a leak. I disagree with doing that. Let me know what you think down in the comments down below. Let's move on to checking for leaks. It's almost cool, it's still quite warm. I've got a damp cloth here. I'm gonna remove all of the flux that's on there and we'll get this thing cleaned up. Now, when you're checking for leaks, you want to make sure that all of your solder joints are completely cooled and you want to turn that water on slowly so that you don't have a big rush of pressure. Check out some of my other plumbing videos, like how to prime and glue PVC pipe correctly.